Hey, what's up guys? This is Jake from RSP, and today we're going to be going over debuffs again. So some of you might remember I made a video on this about a year ago, maybe a little bit less than a year ago. And since then, there's been a whole lot of changes that have come out. It's been a whole lot of new ways to get debuffs, and figure it's time that we go over it. Same thing as last time, my budget hasn't changed. I'm a cake 4 person. I'll do a full cake and a super event. One time I did a royal cake. And yeah, for my keep, we're going after archer attack, archer HP, siege attack, siege HP, and a little bit of cav attack, cav HP when you can. I feel like I have an excess of ground debuffs, plus my flat cav layers, they protect me anyways. I don't really fear ground. So before we get right into it, I'm gonna be excluding a couple things today. I'm gonna be excluding ideal land, excluding coiner castle skins, excluding sub-cities, just all that crazy pay to win stuff. Like, I know the whole game is pay to win, but I'm making this with the regular player in mind, not making it for the whales. If you guys enjoy this content, I'd really appreciate it if you drop a like and a comment. Let me know what you think. And yeah, let's get into it, guys. So, this was during COC, and this was against Vig. This is in, May? Like, May 3rd? So let's go down here. We see Zero hitting me for 10,300. And I cut that shit in half. So his buffs have definitely gone up since then, but so have my debuffs as well. So if I'm cutting that in half, leads me to believe I have enough archer attack debuff because of these new spots, and it lets me focus on other areas of my keep. Like, look at that siege attack debuff. That's embarrassing, you know? So nowadays, my siege attack debuff is 36 or 700. That's okay for my budget, again, right? You gotta be realistic. And the siege HP, you know, I've gone up to like a little bit over 2,000. And we'll get into all the stuff. So I just wanted to show you guys where I was at currently. So the first area that we're gonna look at is the Wisdom Dome. So if you guys don't know, there's a lot of great shit you can get here, but we're gonna be focusing on debuffs, right? And we can go look and see which book I'm using. Okay, so, like, it's not great, it's not perfect, but it does the job, right? You got 3 ideal attributes, and the way that you get these is you combine 2 books with 2 ideal attributes. In this case, it's when defending debuff. That means the first 2 attributes are going to be what you want, and the third one's up to chance. For me, I like to have at least 1 gold and then 2 decent purples, so that's like anywhere from like 11 to 12 on the purple, and I'll settle with that. You definitely don't want to have all blues, you don't want to have all purples, you don't want to have a bunch of random attributes. So yeah, this is a great example. Alright, let's hop into 5th specialties. This one's Iron Curtain, and I'm just going to show you the debuffs that I have and the debuffs that you could have in the future. So, looking at right now on my wall gen, this works as debuff. I get enemy HP debuff, and I get enemy attack. I'm just going to show you all the other debuffs and buffs that you can get. And you can view this on your own keep as well, right? And a great way to get some of these is going to the Warrior Boosting event, and it's something like 35 bucks, and you can get some of these. So we'll go through and we'll look at every type of 5th spec. You know, I might just turn up the music and let you guys read on screen. It's pretty self-explanatory, you know? So yeah, most of these battle tested, you're just getting a little bit of HP unless you upgrade it. And then you could get some archer attack debuff, as you can see here. And some all chirp HP debuff. It's pretty cool. But yeah, it's costly, right? And the reason I have this one on my wall currently is because of that extra flat that I get. And plus I'm too broke for more Iron Curtain, so we're just rocking out like this, broke boy style. Alright, so here's the Piercing Arrow. This one's for Archer. Right now I got Cav, HP debuff. If you were to have an excess of these, you get like Siege Attack, more Cav HP. Right, but like this isn't realistic for someone like me. I don't have like a bunch of extra of these where I can put them on subgens. Very rarely do I get enough extra that I can put on a subgen. Alright, and now we got Battering Ballista. This one's a siege one. You could get Arch and Siege Attack debuff, and a little bit more Siege Attack debuff. Little Renzo Arch HP. Again, I can't afford to put it on a sub. Cav and Arch attack. Very nice. So boom right here on the Gorilla Cav. A lot of Arch attack debuff. It's a pretty cool one. And it has a flat as well. Here's another Archer one on my assistant. So I don't have any debuff currently, but here's what you would get if it was leveled up. Arch and Siege Attack. Standard stuff. Boom, boom. There you go. Alright, next up, let's look at champions. Because a couple have come out since then. So before, I think I've covered all the way up to like Demeter. So we'll just look at a couple of the most recent ones. If you want to look at the other ones, just go into your own keep and look, or just watch the other video. But yeah, we'll start with like Minerva, for example. So you get a good amount of arch attack right here. I could honestly maybe level mine up a little bit more, but as we saw, I already have an excess of archer attack debuff. So you get arch attack for her, Nefertiti. You get Cav HP debuff right there. Simonetta, you get arch attack debuff. It's pretty cool. Then Gossip, does this have one? Yeah, it has ground HP, so not really ideal. You know, I seem to have a lot of it already, so you don't really need to go out your way to get ground debuffs, in my opinion. And Anna, she doesn't have a defending debuff, so, but she's still good. Alright, let's go take a look at the Senate. Alright, so a cheeky way to get debuffs in the Senate is going over to your position level and seeing where you're currently at. 10, 20, 30, and 40. You can get various little debuffs as you can see right there. It changes depending on which troop type you're looking at, but that's often overlooked. Okay, so let's go look at the title upgrades. That's the big thing at the bottom. So we're only going to go up to level 5 because this video isn't tailored to whales, you know, that can do like level 6, 7, 8, you know. This is just for the average dude who can save up, maybe buy stuff from the Lucky Bag event. So over in Commander, you can get 20% Cav attack debuff. Right there, level 3. Over in Marshall, you could get Arch and Siege attack 10%, and then all troops attack 10%. And again, we're only going up to level 5, right? Because that's what's realistic. Alright, let's go over to Leading Senator. You can get 5% Cav HP, 15% Cav attack, and 10% all troop attack. Alright, heading over to Ruling Senator, you could get 15% Arch attack, 10% Siege attack, and 10% all troop attack. Going over to Honorary for the final one, you could get 15% Cav HP, 10% Arch and Siege HP, and 15% all troop attack. Alright, so the Civ treasures, nothing's really changed. We'll go one by one over here. First one, you get Siege attack. Next one, ground attack, we don't really care about it. Moving on. And these are all owned to activate, right? It's not like you have to switch and use them. This one, you could get Cav attack. This one's Arch attack. And this one is all troop attack and HP. Alright, going over to look at the art treasure. Still the same thing. It's the Eagle. All troop attack right here. I need to upgrade mine. So we're going to look at the Star Atlas for now in the Civ gear. Then I'll circle back when I'm looking at subgens to show you off which specific gear I like to use. On the plant set, you could get Cav HP, as you can see right there. The Freedom set, you could get Arch attack debuff. Han Dynasty set, you could get Arch HP. Goryo, you get Arch and Siege attack debuff. And the Bourbon set, you get Siege attack. And the Augustus set, you get Siege HP. And then also, you get a 2 out of 6 every time that you use it on subgens. On the Thebes set, you could get Cav attack debuff. On Sasanian, you also get Cav attack debuff. And Romulus, you get Arch and Siege HP debuff. Alright, now let's go look at Dragon talents real quick, and dragons themselves. So, same as last time, you know, not really much has come out. This dude is pretty fucking awesome, though. I'm not sure if he was out in the last video. His second talent works when it's on a sub-general. It's when you're defending the main city and your subs are linked. Pretty nice, right? Like, a bunch of arch attack debuff. That's one of those spots where you're getting a lot. Going over to a Radiant, same thing. When he's equipped to a sub-gen, you get that Siege HP debuff. It's pretty cool. And Fast Salt, if we go over to his talents, see at the third, the activated one, you get arch attack debuff there as well. So that's why it's really important to get these dragons and to do the dragon pattern event, etc. So same as last time, this dude, you get Cav HP debuff when it's equipped. We're moving on, we got Layden. So if you were to equip him, you get Cav HP debuff, but again, that's only for the whales. But what's for everyone is looking at the third talent, where you get Cav and ground HP, Cav and ground attack. Alright, next up is Amaterasu, Classic. And the third talent activated, you get Arch and Siege attack debuff. And to close it up, we got Ziz with third talent again, all troop HP debuff. Alright, heading over to the Spirit Beast real quick. Only a couple new ones have come out. Alright, so let's just get right into it. So the Tarask right here, you get enemy siege attack debuff. Pretty nice. And Arch HP debuff. Love to see it. The Crow, don't really like it. Again, like I have an excess of ground debuff, so fuck it. This, the Ram, I'm not even gonna try to pronounce its name. We got Arch Attack debuff, very nice. The Deer, again, not gonna pronounce its name. It's got Cav HP debuff. Next up is the Bear, again, Cav HP debuff, and a little bit of siege defense. And the B16, you got Arch Attack debuff, siege HP debuff. Potty, you got Cav Attack debuff. And then a couple of these, they're okay to use, but nothing special. Siren, you got Arch Attack debuff, and Ninetales, you got Cav HP debuff. Quickly, let's get into some certain seals. It'll be really quick. So the Tarask, this new guy at the first star, you can get a little bit Arch Attack debuff. Just one of those spots where you add up and you get a bunch of debuffs at. And same thing with the Crow, Arch Attack debuff. Alright, military tactics, same thing as last time, guys. Ground, if you're gonna break through, you can get all troop attack and Arch and Siege HP debuff. And then with the Arch breakthroughs, you could get all troop HP debuff. And with Siege, you could get Siege HP debuff and Arch and Siege HP debuff. Yeah, at the very bottom, sorry. Alright, next up we got duty gens. So I think it's going to be easiest if I just go into the tavern and show you each duty gen. We're going to go spot by spot, so building by building. Alright, so first up for the keep, we got Hera and Ashoka. So we'll start out with Ashoka first. So going through, this is going to be with the Red Stars and with the Covenants. So for Ashoka, you could get 25% Cav HP debuff. And going over to Hera, you could get Arch and Siege Attack 20% and Siege HP 20%. So for the Forge, we got Hugh O'Donnell and Ono. So we'll go with Ono first. For the Forge, you'd be getting 12% Cav HP debuff. And with Hugh, you'd be getting 15% Arch and Siege HP debuff. We got Michael and Yolande, or however you say her name. We'll go with her, the new one, first. So with Yolande, you get Arch Attack 10% debuff. And here's Michael. You get 30% Arch Attack debuff. Alright, moving along, we got the Research Factory. We'll go look at Stefan the Great. And with him, you'd get Arch Attack 20%, Siege Attack 35%, and Siege HP 25%. He's pretty nice. Alright, Military Academy's up next, and we got Justinian for 20% Arch and Siege Attack. And then Sargon, also for the Military Academy, all troop attack 20%. Okay, next up is going to be the Archer Tower. So we'll start out with Themistocles. He'll give you all troop attack 15% debuff, and Siege and Arch attack and HP 25%. So he does quite a lot. And next up we got Maurice, and he's going to be doing 40% Arch attack, 40% Arch HP, 25% Siege attack, and 40% Siege HP. Yeah, and these Archer Tower guys are pretty nutty. Alright, Hospital, we got Blanche. That does all troop attack, or all troop HP 20%. Alright, next up we got the Trap Factory, and we'll do Otto the Great. He's got 40% Arch attack, 15% all troop HP, 25% Siege attack. He's pretty nice, but he's a little old. And his replacement is Tachibana. This guy's pretty cool. I like him. So Tachibana, he's got 40% Arch attack, 40% Siege attack, and 20% Siege and Arch HP. Plus, he's got a lot of Siege attack, buff. Alright, next up we got the Warehouse, and we'll look at Guinevere. Has Arch and Siege HP 40% debuff. Then we'll go look at Philippa, or Philippa, whatever. Cav HP 35%. That's where that is right there. Moving on to the Embassy, we got Queen Anne, all troop attack 20%, and all troop HP 30%. And still for the Embassy, we got the old guy, Heraclius. He's got all troop HP 45%, and Cav attack for 20%. Alright, for the Holy Palace, we got Helena, and this will have 15% Cav attack, 15% Cav HP, and 8% all troop HP. And also for the Holy Palace, we got Trivia, which is 40% Arch attack and 40% Siege attack. Alright, moving on to the Bunker, we got Clovis, and he's got Cav HP for 15% and 35% Siege attack. And the new version of him would be Katarina, also for the bunker, of course. That'd be Arch HP 15%, and Siege HP 15%, and 40% Siege Attack, and 40% Cav Attack. Next up would be the Archer Cam, and I'm only going to include Hackwood, because he's just the GOAT like that. You got Arch and Siege Attack for 15% with him. He's honestly just the GOAT, though, so. Alright, Barracks, we got Jiang. I don't know, I probably butchered his name. Cav HP for 30%. Or you could use Liu Bei. You got Arch and Siege HP 30%, and Arch Attack for 20% with him. Alright, moving on to Stables. You got Stilchio with all troop attack, or all troop HP 15%, but you really should be using John Adams for the attack positive buff. Alright, Rally Spot, we got Niwa. It's got all troop HP 10%. Alright, and that wraps up the duty gens. Again, that's just the debuffs that they offer. That's not like saying, oh, you know, this one's awesome and only use this one because of the debuff. Just showing off where you can get extra debuffs from. Okay, and then next up is going to be subgens. Everyone loves this, right? This is where you're getting a lot of your debuffs from. So, previously, I was using a lot of broken sets, right? Even when they could have been full, just because I was targeting Arch Attack debuff. And honestly, and I've been using these two, and I used to use some of the swords for Cav Attack or Cav HP, but now I've made a change, because as you saw with that VIG report, cutting a lot in half, so that means I can go after Siege, I can go after other debuffs. So I think it was the right call at the time to use those broken sets, but now because of all this new stuff that we got, it changes. So we'll just start out with one of these guys. We're using the bow to go after Siege Attack, using this chest for Siege Attack and getting 6/6. These boots for Siege and Cav, this helmet for Cav, these legs for Siege, and this ring for Arch Attack. So this is going to be the frequently appearing gear, this forge gear. So let's go start out at the beginning. This I'm using for Arch HP. Probably going to switch this over to a bow really quick. I just need to get more fragments to like fully upgrade it. Still using the broken set here. I might even switch this over to the other chest piece. I'm not too sure. I'm just going to keep it like this for now, right? I don't want to make too many changes, then start to give up on the Arch Attack debuff. Still is my priority. Using these Munso boots to gain Arch and Siege HP, Arch and Siege Attack. Next up is the Romulus helmet, going for that 2/6, plus the other debuffs that has, like Arch Attack, Arch and Siege HP. And the Romulus legs, again 2/6, and then going after Siege HP, Arch and Siege Attack. And this little shield. Not sure if I was using it before, but because I have so much Arch Attack debuff, you know, I can swap out one of the rings and start using this. Then, as you can see up there, he's using that blue dragon for the Cav HP. And then here's what Montezuma does. He does Arch and Siege Attack and Arch and Siege HP, basically. And that'd be like his 4th spec and the 2nd spec. All troop attack a little bit. Pretty much all these gens, their 2nd spec is going to be all troop attack. Going on, we got Baldwin, classic. There he's got that bow that we were looking at. Got the bourbon chest, going after Siege HP right there. And then still getting some Arch Attack. Got the bourbon boots. I just figured to throw it on. The 2/6 means nothing. Getting Arch Attack in a boot slot, that's pretty hard. And I could swap that out for some more Siege, you know, if I really wanted to. But I'm making changes slow. Again, same helmet before. Going after Siege HP with the Han Dynasty legs. And Siege HP again with the Abyss Bracer. And a little bit of Cav Attack at the top, but you know, that's not why you're using this, right? And Baldwin, as you know, he's been around the game for so long, going after Arch and Siege Attack and a little bit of Arch and Siege HP. Jan Carroll, going after Cav Attack and Siege HP debuff, mainly. Using the Augustus weapon and getting the 2/6, so you're going after Cav HP, Arch Attack, and the 2/6. Hien armor. So some people are going to be like, why are you using this on your main Siege gen? And the reason is because I use the Abyss chest on the main Siege gen to get more Siege attack percent. This one, you could break it off. Despite the 6/6 being broken, you're still going to get more Siege attack on the main gen. So I don't really care that much. I just wanted to get extra Siege HP debuff. Moving on, you got the Romulus boots. I really don't want to use these, but it's okay. Still get Siege attack debuff, Arch HP debuff and the 2 out of 6. Sustanian Helmet, you got that Arch HP debuff. Augustus Legs, again we got that 2 out of 6, and we're going after Arch and Siege Attack and HP. And Romulus Bracers, you got Siege Attack, Siege HP, and then the 2 out of 6. Simon, we already looked at him before, he's rocking that standard 6 out of 6. As many of you know from the last one, he does a bunch of Arch and Siege Attack debuff and Arch and Siege HP as well. He's the old GOAT. I think Montezuma's like the new GOAT now, in my opinion, but Simon's also great. Alright, another Simon. You got the Munzo Sword, going after Arch and Siege Attack. Then you got the Augustus Chest, you got Cav HP, Cav Attack, and Arch Attack debuff, and the 2 out of 6 as well. Augustus Boots, 2 out of 6, Arch and Siege Attack. So a lot of this stuff is familiar, right? Like I went over in the last one, but there's been some new stuff. Standard Helmet, Sustanian Legs, going after Arch and Siege Attack. Montezuma, this one's a little bit more developed though. As you can see, it's got the 3-star. That's probably where I'm gonna stop with Montezuma. Like, of course, if I had the budget, I'd get the 4th and the 5th, but don't really have red boxes coming out my ass, so. But if you do, maybe you can upgrade them more. Okay, we got Zizka, again, standard 6 out of 6 that I was using, and I'm doing that because I have the excess of Arch Attack debuff, right? So I have the luxury of going after Siege Attack. And for anyone who doesn't know, he does a lot of Arch Attack debuff, and he does some Arch and Siege HP as well. Again, we got a Simon, standard 6 out of 6, and we got another Montezuma, and I needed to put my guy on him real quick. He's doing some changes and stuff. But yeah, very nice. He's got some of the standard equipment. Again, the same situation with the first sub-gen. I could swap this out for a bow, but I'm just waiting for those fragments to upgrade my bow to the highest level. So I'll just rock that for now. And still using a broken set because, you know, it's currently broken. I could change that over if my debuffs are still good after I've made these changes. Standard boots. The fur and legs, you got Arch and Siege Attack debuff. And the Sustanian Bracer has Siege HP debuff. And again, I'm using this, it's only 22%. But because I have an excess of Arch Attack debuff, I can use this to get more Siege HP debuff. Yet another Simon, same setup, same standard gear, you know, going after that Siege. And finally Zudi, I'm pretty sure this is my last one. Again, he's got the standard 6 out of 6. I'll show off what he does. He's kind of like Simon, he does Arch and Siege Attack and Arch and Siege HP. Alright, so because of that report I shared at the start of the video, that allowed me to make certain changes with these sub-gens and these sub-gear to go after Siege Attack debuff. Because if I'm cutting Vig like 10,300 in half, I can probably cut like 11k in half, like I don't even know, you know, yet to be seen. So I'm going after more Siege Attack right now. And if their buffs start to rise where I can't cut them in half, then, you know, I still have all this gear I can swap back over, and I'm gonna be looking fine. That's why you never delete your gear. So what works for me might not work for you. Maybe you're not cutting 10,000 Arch Attack in half. You know, maybe you still need to get up there. You can rewatch some of this video, you can rewatch some of the old video, and you'll find more Arch Attack debuff for you. So there's some gear that I don't have currently, but I could use. Like, let's say Vig gets up to like 12k, you know, there's no way I'm cutting that in half with what I have right now, so there's some more gear that you could get. First up would be the Abyss boots, wherever that is. So again, a boot slot that has Arch Attack debuff. Next up would be the Aztec boots, I think they're somewhere around here. Same thing, you got Arch Attack debuff in a boot slot. And then lastly would be the Sustanian boots, it's got Arch and Siege. Oh, sorry, my dog's jumping up. Last up would be the Sustanian boots. It's got Arch and Siege Attack as well, but it's a little bit lower percent than the other one, so be careful about getting this one. Alright, let's look at some universal covenants real quick. This will be the same as the last video, so I'll just breeze through it real quick. There's only really 3 of them I want to look at. So Andre Messina in this covenant, you can see Arch and Siege Attack debuff. Alright, next up we got Totila. This guy's got Arch Attack debuff, it's 10%, which is nice. And lastly, we got John. He's got Arch and Siege HP debuff. Alright, and lastly, we got Blazon. So we're gonna look at the set attribute. So for the Siege set, I'm getting some All Troop Attack debuff right here. And on the ground set, I'm getting some cav attack debuff. Alright guys, well that about wraps it up. There's a couple small things, like when you hit level 45 in your Monarch talent tree, you can get a little debuff, but I didn't even want to show it. It's just so simple. Everyone should already know. But yeah, I hope you guys found this stuff useful and enjoyed the little update after K50. Share it with a friend, share it with your Alliance members, and if you like this content, I'd appreciate it if you drop a like and a comment. Have a nice day, guys.